Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of this Sick Podcast, Talking Titans. We're approaching our next matchup against the Raiders. We're going to touch a little bit more on what we saw last weekend and a little bit of that and everything in between. So let's not waste any time. Jimmy, start us up.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Talking Titans.
Ward looking. Looping out of trouble. He's trying to set up receivers. He's going to throw against his body to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Spectacular. Cam Ward, welcome to Nashville.
The sickest Tennessee Titans podcast. Sick! It's going to be sick.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again to another edition of the Sick Podcast, Talking Titans, joined always by my counterpart, Jarett. How you doing today, Jarett?
Pretty damn good. We finally had a Victory Monday that we can actually celebrate. It was actually good to wear Titans gear to work. Had a little collared shirt action celebrating it, and you still got the balls busted a little bit, but a win is a win, and hopefully the trajectory goes up for this week as well.
Absolutely. A win is a win, and that is for sure. So we're going to get into a little bit more what we saw last weekend amongst some other things. But before we do, as always, want to give a special shout out to our great sponsors over at DraftKings. Game On Week 6 starts now, and every touchdown brings you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. This isn't just football. It's first touchdown fireworks, anytime touchdown rushers, and live bets that ride every momentum shift. At DraftKings, every play is your next shot to win. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5 to get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, grab over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Your season starts now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 6sports. That's code 6sports to get $300 off and bonus bets instantly when you place your first bet of $5 or more. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
All righty. We are a couple days removed from our first victory. A lot of energy in the building, Jarett. It's pretty obvious, and that's a good thing, of course. Despite our woes as a team, it's good to have some energy. Had a couple days to marinate this win. What have you seen since we left on Sunday?
Obviously, you want to look at the big picture and what is the biggest improvements right now in the team, and that is obviously the offensive line. The offensive line, I'm looking at right now what stats per PFF. That the blocking efficiency has gotten a lot better from week 1 all the way till week 5. We graded out as a 91.7, which was 5th best, surprisingly, in the league this past week. And the pressures allowed, per offensive line group is the left tackle. We're giving up 21% of the pressures on that side, and on the right side, which is our weakest right now, obviously with JC Latham out, 35% of the pressures are coming on that side. The offensive line has been head over heels, a lot better since the beginning of the season. Obviously, letting up 2 sacks this past weekend against the Cardinals. And the Cardinals have, they have Calais Campbell still over there. They have a good front over there. So, they're no slouches. But it showed, obviously, especially in the fourth quarter where Cam Ward had 193 yards. This is per PFF again, just a clean pocket. Cam Ward with a clean pocket, he was 20 of 34 for 246 yards, which was 83% QBR. When he was pressured, it was 1 for 5 for 19 yards and an interception with 2 sacks. So obviously, when this guy has a clean pocket and he can, manipulate the ball down the field, we're going to win some football games. So obviously, if this continues and the protection they get from, what they saw on the film in Arizona, which was really good, if they can move forward to doing that against the Raiders this week, I think we'll see another win, and we'll keep climbing up the win column.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give. It doesn't change my view of the man at all as a coach, but I guess I'll give Brian Callahan credit that he did say winning this way is not sustainable, and obviously that is the truth. The protection was great,
Mhm.
much better than it was weeks prior. That's a big step
Huge.
forward because no matter what this head coach looks like next year, no matter what the offensive line coach looks like next year, which you would have to assume is going to be different. Um, this group is starting to get better and mesh with each other. And that's, really important. Now, we don't know how long Cushionberry is going to be in play. We don't know how long Dan Moore is going to be in play. Hopefully, in all seriousness, not too long. We'd like to maybe implement some guys that have a higher ceiling at the position and we could have for a longer period of time. But regardless, at this very moment, with Cam Ward's rookie year continuing to progress, they're getting better with each other, and that's super important. Seeing a little bit of a regression at certain points with the young receiving group, at least Io Manor. I want to see him not drop as many balls.
Yeah.
That's kind of becoming a slight issue right now. I got to stop opening up my big mouth. 2 weeks ago I'm talking like he's going to be Chris Carter, but it's okay. They're going to go through some
Of
woes. They're
course.
rookies. Gunnar Helm had a career highlight on Sunday. That no matter how his career finishes, they're going to be showing that fucking catch. That was a huge catch, and he's going to get better and better. So again, you and I both, I think, are on the same page. The coach, we really are likely going to need someone different there next year. But we also still very important to try to start taking steps to get better. And we saw those on Sunday, at least some steps.
Yeah, and one of the biggest thing is like we've been pounding the table the whole time, and especially even me with the whole Gunnar Helm situation with the tight ends. We needed to get them involved. They got involved. Like I said, they had 8 catches combined for about 90 something yards. It was huge. And then you have the bonehead, if you want to call him offensive coordinator, who I don't even know what the hell he does. And Nick Holes, his quote today was Gunnar Helm was an easy ball catcher, could see his targets going up, moving forward. Yeah, no shit. Every single Titans fan and every single podcaster, including us, has said the same thing since week one, where he has been absent in his offense. He had a fantastic start in Denver. The opening drive. He was getting open. They were throwing him the ball, and then all of a sudden it went low. And now, obviously, when the tight ends get involved, and Cam Ward, you let Cam Ward be Cam Ward and throw the ball down the field, stuff happens, and he's a prime example. He was drafted in the 4th round, but he should have went higher, in my opinion. Where he had 700 yards at Texas, and he was a red zone machine. And we need to start utilizing that in this offense to help Cam Ward.
Did you happen to catch the clip? I think it was yesterday. When Ben Jones, I'm sure you were. Ben Jones was on the Buck Rising show. He talked
Yes, I
about.
was watching it live.
Okay, yeah. Well, obviously, I'm sure most people took that story and said, "Wow, Terry Bisky, he was just as bad as we all thought he was." And to an extent, you're right. But you know what? Also, that says, how scary is it that basically based off of a couple numbers, when already an NFL offense is supposed to be so freaking complicated that there's no way any team could catch on about what you're doing. Yet this offense was not only called by like basic single digit numbers, okay? The quarterback and the center were basically running the fucking offense. And that team not only went to the playoffs, they won a playoff game. So, what does that tell you? To me, what that tells you is that's number one, not a great idea to do that. But what it also says is that a bad offensive coordinator and coach can be a lot worse than no offensive coordinator and coach to an extent, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning they can do a lot more harm than they can do good if they're not going to get involved. I think you can understand how I'm wording this. Like they can do a lot more harm than good in some regards if they really truly don't know what they're doing. And I still think you're seeing some of that. Now again, the fourth quarter, the guy threw for 200 yards basically. So something changed. And I think the easy cut and dry answer is they decided to let Cam Ward just do what he does best, and that's
Mm-hmm.
throw the football. And they gave him, carte blanche. Maybe they let him call the plays out loud. I don't know. We're gonna find that info out probably later on. But just you have nothing to lose now. How about
No.
you treat every quarter like the fourth quarter
Yeah.
and see what happens?
Yeah, plain and simple. It is what it is now because now you know what he can do, right? You don't have to be like, surprised by anything. He can make all the throws. The Raiders are coming into this game banged up as well, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Brock Bowers, who knows what he is day to day. Geno Smith is definitely not the Geno Smith of
Horrible.
yeah, he's thrown an interception or multiple interceptions in every single game but one this year. So, I mean, if we attack them the way we did for Denver, I mean, this knock on wood, I'm not going to say. I mean, I got to say it. It should be a win for us, but you never know what you're going to get with this Tennessee Titans team, whether they can actually score points consistently going down the field or they can just go the 3 and out, the run pass. So you don't know with Brian Callahan, but with our hopes this week, what we saw on tape in the fourth quarter and how everything gelled and, they got everybody involved and, the line was blocking well. I mean, we got to worry about Max Crosby on the right-hand side, but, if everything goes well for us this week, it should be another telltale sign of how this offense and how this team with Cam Ward's going to go moving forward.
Yeah. I'm really gonna go into the rest of the season with the mindset that number one, and I've said this multiple times already, so it's nothing new. But number one, I'm trusting the two-headed monster that is Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker. That combined, the way they're operating this team right now as a unit, they have the
Mhm.
plan in place, and they're not going to let anything that's happening from this point forward change their minds about what they've already seen. If you can catch my drift on that. What I'm also going to go into the rest of the season thinking is the main goal, the number one goal, is building as much confidence for this young quarterback as physically possible for the rest of the year. That way, if by the graces of God we can somehow become competent in year two, coaching wise, roster wise, he's ready to go. If the surrounding aspects of this team are ready to go and he's ready to go, then boom, we're in contention right away.
So
I'm sure most people in their mind are thinking 2027, and I'm sure you and I are. Good.
no, finish.
But I mean, if this kid can build the confidence to know he could take any team from any deficit and win, and truly believe it, because I don't think he believed it the first month of the season, then we're going to be ready. We're going to be able to be a team like the Commanders last year, like the Texans 2 years ago, because we're going to have all the pieces in place.
So with all that being said, we and you are almost contradicting yourself now, because now we want obviously Cam Ward to succeed, which then in turns Brian Callahan succeeds. And like I said, I'm a big guy where I want to keep everything a whole and build. I don't want to ruin these quarterbacks and head coach new offense, head coach new offense, head coach new offense. So the best thing in the world for all of us is Brian Callahan is still learning from his mistakes. Right. I'm not retracting. I'm not retracting on anything. I'm just throwing this out there. I'm just having a conversation. Brian Callahan learns from his mistakes, helps Cam Ward. We progress. We have all that money. And it's just kind of like a Dan Moore effect. I mean, not a Dan Moore. The fuck is his name? The Detroit coach, Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell effect, where they were shit. They were 0-17. I mean, 0-16, and they climbed that ladder, and look where they are right now. I mean, you're building through the draft. They built through the draft. They have their free agents as well. We have the ton of money. So, I mean, what you're saying is almost contradictory, where you want Cam Ward to succeed. Obviously, who doesn't? But then when he does, and then the team starts doing it, Brian Callahan's going to do it.
Well, that's
now
why
a whole boatload of things need to happen and change going forward. Right? If it's inconsistent, you win, you can move down the field, you're 3 and out, you score 6 points here, you score 12 points here, you score 26 points here. We want consistency. We want to be in every single game where the fight is. And then I think Brian Callahan keeps his job. If they don't, and they keep getting, shut out, and they're not scoring or anything, that's when you'll see the head coach change. But I think they're going to have confidence with him right now, especially if Cam Ward is still vouching for him.
Well, that's why I prefaced what I was saying earlier with I'm trusting Borgonzi and Brinker are not going to let what happens from now on change their opinion about what they saw for the past 20 games prior. This coach is not inept or is not competent enough to lead a team to not only a Super Bowl but to make the right decisions in key moments. We've seen him do that way too many times. And the fact that the pressure can ever get to someone, I mean, that's not going to go away, especially when you're feeling that pressure on a team that wins one game every 2 months. So, with all that being said, like, I'm hoping no matter what happens, and again, Jarrett, they took away this guy's play calling. He came here as an offensive
Oh
specialist
yeah.
type coach.
Oh yeah.
So I think the damage hopefully is done. Where really no matter what happens from this point forward, they're not going to trust this guy to do what they hired him to do. So that's why I prefaced it by saying I hope he's out right at this point no matter what. They could win. I mean, again, we go back to saying if by the graces of the biggest miracle in the league's history, this team gets a wild card spot by default, how the fuck can I ever say I still want him gone? Now I still would, because I'm gonna assume
I
that
mean,
everything
Malarkey was gone too, so I mean,
and
you wouldn't be wrong to do it.
it's not in this situation. Rookie year Cam Ward, that would be a miracle.
Oh yeah.
It would never happen. It would never happen. So we're assuming that's not going to be the case. But even if they wind up winning 7 games this year, I I'm going to assume they know it's going to be in spite of the coach, not because of the coach. So we're assuming all those things are true, which is crazy to think because this team's done stupider shit. I want to keep seeing them progress and I want to keep seeing them win. And yeah, in a sense, it is contradictory, but that's the best way I can word it. Like I've said over and over again, Jarrett, this is the worst situation this franchise could put their fan base in. They have to go every week questioning what they want out of this team.
And
You
head
should,
coach.
and the coach, you should never ever have your fan base questioning if winning is smart or not. And it is. It's a real question because if you want to actually see this team hold the Lombardi trophy, like them going on a run and wind up winning 8 games and missing the playoffs and having this coach stay isn't going to do that, I don't think. But I could be wrong, and I don't think I am. But it doesn't matter.
I mean, we all think about this, and like I got guys, if you like the conversation, please like, comment, subscribe, resubscribe, and hit that hype button for all of us. If you like what we're talking about, but I sit and contemplate sometimes where, hey, we brought Brian Callahan into here to be an offensive guy, a guy to call plays. Remember, he never did that before. Maybe he's good at drawing up the plays, and he's really not really good at in-game situations where he can call the actual plays. And somebody else is better, which is Bo, which he's leaning on Bo because he did it in Oakland, where he is like a kind of mastermind of that. You're seeing Dan Orlowski, you see Brian Baldinger. They all post videos of Cam Ward is going to be him. You just got to see it. Guys are open. He doesn't have the protection. That's really not on the coaching, right? We could spitball. You guys can comment. You can say whatever you want, but the offense, if it's a sack, it's not on the coaching. If the guys can't get open, Dan Orlowski's online saying these guys are open. They're dropping footballs and everything. So I mean, we have to break down film and we have to really dive real deep into it. But
there was color commentators that were saying there's not a lot of guys open, and I heard that last Sunday. But regardless, Jarrett, there's just unfortunately no universe where you're going to convince me, and I know you're not trying to.
Yeah,
but
no,
I'm just saying,
not.
I have zero confidence in this coach, and I just admitted it, lightly, but I admitted it. Like even if this team went on a run, and somehow got a wild card, which isn't happening, but by miracle, I still would want him gone. I still want to trust him. They're up by 10 points in the Super Bowl, and they're on the 50-yard line with 30 seconds, and it's 4th and 10 or whatever. I'm gonna assume he's not gonna make the right decision. I've just seen him make the wrong decision too many times, and that kind of stupidity doesn't just go away. I don't think so. Um, just got to take every week 1 week at a time and hope that Cam Ward comes out of every week feeling good about himself. And, we got to pray there's a universe where this team can win as many games as possible. And he still goes. And I think that's a likely option. That's a likely possibility. So that's good news.
No, it definitely is. But I mean, you see offenses operate, this past weekend. I mean, week 5 has been lopsided. How Jaguars, beat, KC last night on fluke. But that offense, they're 4-1. Trevor Lawrence looks really good how they operate going up and down the field.
He looks really good.
Same thing with McDaniels in not Pittsburgh, in New England with the Patriots. Drake May goes into Buffalo and they beat the Bills. I mean, they look really good, calling the offense. But us as Titan fans, we just want to feel comfortable, going into an environment and winning a football game where we're confident in our offense that they can get open, that the offensive coordinator can, scheme up plays and downs and distances and know who you have and just make the right calls. But right now, we looked good in the fourth, but going forward, we'll see if that continues. But this league is turned upside down right now by veteran coaches with some young coaches, and I think we need that help in Tennessee.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But again, we're gonna have a great memory if this is the quarterback that we're gonna eventually be able to cheer for while being Super Bowl champs, and this is going to be a great moment for us to remember. Just for so many reasons, the circus aspect of it.
I'm
Um,
sorry, this league is an absolute circus too, because we're in the right mind. I mean, you have AJ Brown on the Eagles, who's a winning team. You have Derrick Henry on the Ravens, who's 1-4 as well. But then
yeah,
you have Tony Pollard and Calvin Ridley. They have better yards than both of them.
yeah. I mean,
Receiving and rushing. I mean, in what world do we live in? And we're in where we're at. It's crazy.
yeah. I would not I would not believe, or I would not bet that at the end of the year, Pollard and
No,
Ridley are going to have more yards than them. They're going to figure it out, I think. But we'll see, man. This game's going to this game is this is a perfect matchup. Really, just a perfect matchup to decide what kind of impact that win had on this football team.
yep.
Because I'm sorry, I don't care it's on the road. This Raider team is really subpar. Geno Smith is absolutely playing horrendous football. They're talking about possibly benching him, possibly trying to trade for somebody. He's just playing that badly. You're having issues getting pressure as it is. This is just a perfect
Their
opportunity.
offensive line is beat up
Yeah,
too. Miller
yeah.
just went on the IR.
I mean, this is a team that's bleeding, just like you are. And if you're starting to patch your wounds up, this is a game that you could actually win running away if these guys are ready to step up, if this O-line is continuing to be better and better, protecting their young quarterback, if this secondary continues to get better, if maybe we could possibly get Tavondre Sweat back before fucking Thanksgiving. Maybe we can start sacking quarterbacks because we were sacking quarterbacks when he was in there.
Oh yeah.
So, again, my faith in the coach will not be restored. I cannot say it any more clearly than that. But we still need to try to get on the doorstep of competence. And it's going to be by building some sort of culture where we're not going to stand for being pushed around every single week anymore. We got lucky. We all know we got lucky to get one victory. We need to win without luck now in this next week.
Oh, I mean, without a doubt. I mean, 12% chance we had winning, or 2% chance of winning, and that was like one of the best next gen stats. This week, I don't want to even go near those stats. I want to, get the football. If we're getting the football, I want to score right away because we're notably a slow start team. If you want to, like you said, build momentum towards, a huge game, in my opinion, with Vrabel coming to Nashville next week, you want 4 quarters of basically fuck you football to the Raiders and go out there and win on all 3 phases of the football game. And, that would definitely, build momentum towards that. And you'll have the fans a little bit more juiced up in Nashville for that game against Vrabel. And if they come out and they knock the shit out of Vrabel, I mean, then we'll be talking. But this is the actual, you want to talk about Marvin Harrison get right game, and everyone gets a get right game for the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans need to have this as their get right game for the Raiders, right? They're beat up, like you said. Now build on what you saw in the fourth quarter and get yourself right.
I I don't see any universe where this team's competitive against the Patriots.
No, but you know what? You see it as a fan, Sal. How many times you say we're never going to fucking win this game, and all of a sudden they turn around and
No,
they beat
but
somebody that they're not supposed to beat.
you're right, but this team is so
Oh,
bad,
I
and
know.
they
But if
really
Latham
are.
comes back and Sweat comes back, who knows? We're at
Yeah,
the who knows. We can shit the bed this week and then come back and beat the Patriots, or we can go 2-0 the next 2 games, or we'll go 0-2. That's just the life of a Tennessee Titans fan.
it is,
We all know
man.
that.
But the bottom line is, we had Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley and Gunnar Helm make big plays at the end of the game when they had opportunities to. But the bottom line is, there's no evidence. There's absolutely zero evidence other than Cam Ward's ability,
Yep.
and that's the sole and only reason. But there's no evidence this team can win a game on merit, on their own merit. And I know people are gonna scream like, "Oh my God!" On their own merit, they still had to make those plays at the end of the fourth quarter. Yeah, Cam Ward had to make big throws.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Ward made big throws. Calvin Ridley made big catches. Gunnar Helm made big catches. But you literally, DeMarcado doesn't drop that ball.
Yep.
Not only are they laying down, they're probably losing by fucking, because then they're probably running the ball, or the defense is going to be very easily able to predict what they're doing, and they could have lost by 30. You know what I mean? So yes, the grit, the heart for Cam Ward and those other two players in the O line to win the game when given the opportunities, bravo. But there is not any evidence in these first 5 games that this team has any chance of winning a game on merit and that game was not on merit, and we know that. So
100% agree on that.
we'll see how things shape up, guys. As always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to check out our show at the end of the week, and of course we will see you post game as well after Vegas. Jarett, anything you want to throw in before we close shop today?
No, I got a little bet going on with my brother, so I think he's going to be here on Sunday because he is a diehard Raider fan, and I think if the Raiders beat us, I'll be wearing a Raiders jersey on the podcast, and if the Titans win, I told him he's got no fucking choice, but he's going to be coming on the podcast, and he's going to be wearing a Titans jersey, so he may go on for a 5-minute clip after the game as well, and we can all bust his balls as a Raider fan. Hopefully, we win on Sunday, so we'll see if that happens.
We will see. I'll leave you guys with this, and I've been saying this since I'm a young man. NFL football, at least the Titans specifically, they run so much on momentum. If they don't have momentum, they're dead in the water. Some teams have enough leadership where even when they're on their last leg, they can get the best out of their guys on the sideline, on the field, etc. I don't think we've really had too much of that. Point being, if you want to give your team any chance of winning and winning consistently, you let Cam Ward play football like he's been in the league for a decade, like you did when your back was against the wall Friday or in the fourth quarter on Sunday. So let Cam be Cam. Let the defense feed off his energy. Play like you have nothing to lose, and let's see what we can do. So hope everyone has a great rest of their week. And as always, tighten up. Jimmy, send us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Talking Titans on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.